Alright guys, welcome back to today's video. In today's video, I'm pretty much going to teach you everything you need to know about heating for your snakes. So there's two types of heating when you're going to be heating your snakes or any of your reptiles really. There's a under the tank heating method, or there's where you have a bulb and a heat lamp. So I'm going to show you both methods, but I'm going to start with the under tank heating first. Because that's what I think is the most interesting and the one that works the most. All right, so here's my enclosures right here. As you can see, the first type of heating that I use is reptile heat tape, or THG tape. I'm gonna leave a link to this in the description. It's a Canadian website. It's not sponsored or anything, but this is where I got mine, so I'm just showing you where I got mine. But it's very easy to do. I'll just show you quickly how to use it. So these right here are the dimensions, which is basically the width of your heat tape. So mine, I'm pretty sure I selected the 4-inch one. So that means that it's going to be 4 inches like that. So yeah, that's what the dimensions are there for, basically, so you can judge based on your enclosure how big you'll need it. So once you've selected how large you want it, then you go here and you select how many feet you want. So my heat tape is actually 3 feet. It runs from there up to just a little bit under this tank, but it's not really heating under there. You just put in how many feet you want. So if you want 6 feet, you put 6. If you want 1 foot, you do 1. You basically, I'm pretty sure you understand. So this right here, you're only buying the tape. You're not buying this wire right here. So this wire is about $6 extra. You also add it to your cart. So basically it plugs into the wall, and then there's like positive and negative here. But I didn't do this. The company actually did it for me. When you're ordering, you just tell them in the description of your order that you want them to wire your heat tape for you, so that way you don't have to do it. They don't charge extra, but you have to get this and your heat tape. You can't just get the heat tape because it doesn't come with the plug, unless of course you have your own plug, then that's fine. But I didn't know anything about this, so I just told them to do it for me, and they did it for me perfectly fine. So that's what that looks like. So again, I'll leave both links in the description for the stuff that you'll need to order with. All right, so now I'm going to talk about why someone would choose Repti heat tape. It's actually really cheap when you think about it compared to buying a bunch of heat pads. This heats a lot of enclosures at once. This heat tape won't really work on like an Exoterra, because Exoterras have a raised base. So under there, it's not really the glass. Like there's about an inch before you hit glass. So I guess unless you tape it to the Exoterra, then it would work. But this one just ends like right there. So there's nothing really heating there, so I don't mind. Why I like this so much, excuse all the mess back here, but it's basically because you can use one thermostat for the whole tape. So if you have like 6 feet of tape, you need one thermostat and that's it. It saves a lot of money because if you have a lot of enclosures, you also need heat. So if you're buying heating pads for every single one of those enclosures, that's pretty expensive. Plus the thermostats that you're gonna need for each heating pad, it just gets really expensive. All right, so I'm pretty sure I covered everything for the heat tape. It's just really simple. It's very cheap. It's very cost effective. So like when I have more snakes that I have to house here, I'll basically turn this one to the side. I'm gonna buy a larger width so we can heat up more, and I'll turn these ones like that, and then I'll have some more bins, some more babies or whatever on this shelf. And like you can see right there, the thermostat just turned on. So this thermostat right here controls the heat tape. The next method of heating that I'm gonna show you is a heat pad. So this is a heating pad right here. I'm pretty sure you all know what they look like. They're very simple. There's convenience with this because it comes with the plug. It's already all set to go. Of course, you're gonna need a thermostat. But if you order from the site that I ordered from, they'll just do all the wiring for you. So it's really like you're getting a heating pad. There's not really much else to say about heating pads. They just go under the tank. You can either stick them with the sticker that's on the heat pad, or you can just use your own tape so that way you can reuse it. But that's pretty much it for heat pads. Like it does the same thing as the heat tape, except one heat pad only goes with one thermostat. So if you have 2 or 3 enclosures, you're gonna have 2 or 3 thermostats. So like on my corn snake's enclosure down there, he has a thermostat. On this enclosure here, she has a thermostat. And my ball python that's right down here, he has a thermostat too. So they all have different separate thermostats that all work independently, and they all turn on and off the heat based on what the snake needs. So the next method I'm gonna show you is on my ball python's enclosure, which is the over the tank method. So if you have a very large enclosure, you might need more than one heat source. So in the corner right here, he has his heating pad that's kind of like goes right up to that thing right there. Here he is coming out. He's not mad. He always just looks like that. He's actually really nice, but he's digesting food, so I don't want to like take him out. But he's very curious. So yeah, like I was saying, he has a heating pad right there. But since this enclosure is really large and I live in Canada, it gets really cold in the winters. So I have this bulb right here. This area right here is basically like his secondary basking area. And if you don't think snakes like to bask, at least my ball python loves to bask, but I haven't noticed it on any of my corn snakes, so that's why I don't offer them a basking bulb. But his bulb is right here. It actually burnt out last night, which I'm really sad about because he didn't have his heat last night. So the best bulb is a ceramic heat emitter. And I'll tell you why right now. It's basically because it doesn't give off any light, because light disturbs the snake's natural like sleep schedule. So if they're awake at night and they're seeing a red light, they're not going to be happy about that because they can still see it. Even most of the lights that are like red lights and blue night lights, they actually can see them. Snakes are able to see those lights. They're not blind to that. They notice that there is something, they notice that there is lighting, especially during the night when it's so dark. The best bulbs to use are ceramic heat emitters. This one's just an Exoterra. It burnt out pretty quick, so I don't know if I'm gonna buy the same one. I might just go buy a different brand. But yeah, always go with ceramic heat emitters if you have to go over the tank, just so they are not able to see it and you don't disturb them during the nighttime. All right, so I'm just gonna discuss what type of heating you should choose while we stare at my ball python right here. My ball python's name is Titan. Anyways, that's besides the point. So which heating should you use? I suggest you use under the tank heating for all your needs, because one, it's really cheap. You don't have to keep replacing bulbs. So you will need to use thermostats for under the tank heating, but that's to be expected. It's to keep your snake safe and so that they don't get burned. If you're doing sort of like a breeding operation or a breeding setup, you should definitely 100% get heat tape, because that's the cheapest way to go. But if you just have one Exoterra or one Enclosure to heat, I honestly suggest going with a heating pad, because you just have one enclosure, and one heating pad for one enclosure is perfectly fine. And if you have a really big enclosure like I was talking about, and if you can't keep the temperature really stable, you're gonna have a heating pad and a heat lamp just to keep the temperatures up to what your snake needs. I know I really didn't discuss like temperature needs or requirements based on like your snake, but that's because there's so many different species out there and you could just look that up on Google. But what I tried to do is basically explain to you the two different types of heating and the best option to choose in those categories. So if you're gonna be using a bulb, you're gonna wanna go with a ceramic heat emitter. That way there's no light. It just emits heat. That's it. That's all. Really perfect for any snake, what they need. Unless your snake needs UVB, then of course this won't work. But this is just specifically for heating, and it's the best bulb out there. So yeah, I think I pretty much covered everything. Again, there's going to be links in the description on the website that I ordered my heat tape from. Of course, it's not sponsored. I'm just trying to help you guys out because I never bought heat tape because I didn't know how to wire it and all that, but the website did it for me, and all I had to do was plug it in and use the thermostat. And I'll just show you something really quickly. I noticed on the back of this, they are showing the red bulb, the infrared bulb that they call it. Yeah, literally, they call it an infrared basking bulb, but it's not actually infrared. Your snake can still see it, your reptile can still see that light. So just don't be going with these bulbs, especially not these bulbs if you're heating at night. You don't want any light. These are really the best way to go if you're heating over the tank. Alright guys, that pretty much sums up this whole video. So sorry I didn't take out any snakes today because they're all fed and they're all just chilling in their hotspot. I really hope I covered everything heat related. I'm pretty sure I did, but just in case I didn't, if you have any questions at all about anything, thermostats, the heat tape, heating pads, anything at all, what kind of bulbs to use, just leave them in the comments down below and I'll make sure to get back to you. Last reminder, make sure to check the description if you need to find any of these products, because I'll put them in the description down below. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope I helped you out some way. So hopefully now you know how to heat your reptile, you know what's best for you and best for your pockets and where your money's going. So yeah, thanks for watching and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.